Hey everyone, welcome back to Teenager Therapy. I'm Gael.
I'm Thomas.
I'm Kayla.
And welcome back to the podcast. So weird. Sometimes I feel like recently I recorded another podcast and the dynamic was way different. And so for some reason, it feels like we haven't recorded a podcast in so long.
It's only been a week, right?
Yeah.
If anything, it's sooner than
Interesting.
usual.
Thomas, you went on a cruise.
I did.
How was that? That's so weird. You did that whole thing while
Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of cruises because they're so corny. Like, they're for middle-aged people and families, and if you're young, and it's just, I don't know. It wasn't that fun just because the activities they had were like trivia, bingo night, and stuff like that, which was like fun for my family and stuff, but I kind of it was just nice being on the boat, I guess. And it was nice traveling to Mexico and stopping by Catalina.
Wow.
Yeah, that was nice.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Did you go to the teen lounge?
Yeah.
No, the teen lounge is only up to 17. So I tried getting my little brother to go, but he didn't want to, which makes sense. It's like, it's kind of, it's a different crowd of people, and it's like awkward, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would love to go to the teen lounge if I was on a cruise just to see what happens. I feel like I'm a very big believer in putting myself in situations where I don't know what might happen, because I love the feeling of like whatever happens, and usually it always works out. Like, it always works out, which is the topic of today's episode, is like doing things that just kind of lean into letting the universe lead the way. And it has helped not only with my indecisiveness, but just putting myself more out there and like making more memories. And so that's been like something I've been thinking about a lot, that I've seen in my life. Like, recently I have gone through a lot of change, and I remember before the change I was like, like, what is my life going to look like now? Like, it's just, there's this very big part that's going to disappear. I'm going to be left with like nothing, no new memories, nothing exciting. It's going to be bland and boring. But funny enough, like, as soon as one part ends, there's this entirely new part that begins at the perfect time, that almost like fills the gap, or not fills the gap, but provides a new thing to look forward to. And it was just such funny timing that it really had me being like, holy fuck, the universe is working for me. Like, I am trusting that whatever spiritual forces out there is taking care of me. And I never thought I would say this, but I see it even in the small things. Like, it's so funny. Like, there was this one specific example where I sent a text message and the message didn't get delivered, and it said could not get delivered. So I sent like 4 messages at a time. One of them didn't get delivered. It said failed to send. And I was like, should I send it again? But then I thought, no, everything happens for a reason. I'm just gonna leave it, and like maybe in a couple days I'll be like, okay, I'm glad I didn't send that message, you know?
Was it like a risky one or what?
It was just like by and then I think the point is that it was a message that I was like, it's funny that's the one that didn't get sent. Okay. And so later, like, I let just things like play out, and then I look back on that message not sending, and I'm like, honestly, like, I'm glad that message didn't send. I think it led to better things because that message did not send. So small examples like that, where you just notice something that it's like, that's weird, and then a couple days later you look back and you're like, oh shit, I'm really glad that happened because it kind of led to this coincidentally. So have you noticed any of that in your lives at all?
Yeah, I feel like intuition plays a big role in like everything. Like, if I have a gut feeling, I'm gonna follow it.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. Is that not what you're describing?
Oh,
I
guess so.
It's
no.
like, okay.
I guess it could be different based on the person, right?
I feel like your intuition is like telling you that, like, oh, this is happening for a reason. So it's right.
Yeah. I mean, I think everything does happen for a reason, even though like in the moment it may not seem like it, but like time passes and then you look back and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense why that happened. Or like, I'm glad, things with this person didn't work out. But it sucks because like in the moment you don't see it sometimes. So then you're just like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, no, I used to be like a pessimistic person, and I was like, that's just what sad people tell themselves to like keep on like holding on to this false hope. Like things don't always happen for a reason. Things suck and all of that. But no, they're right. It's like something always comes out of another thing, and
I think
I
it
don't know.
definitely makes you a more optimistic person with
yeah.
way less anxiety about
Yeah.
the future. Because like you said, I think if you just, I've noticed it in my life recently where I've really started to notice the ways that things that don't make sense in the present end up resolving themselves in the future. And it's really helped me in a lot of ways to not worry so much about what is coming and just almost turn the anxiety into excitement. Because I'm like, if something bad happens, instead of stressing about it and being super upset, it's just it really allows me to be like, oh well, I wonder why this happened. I can't wait to find out, and so it like pushes me to keep on going through the days until I eventually find the answer. And I think like a lot of times I do, which is nice.
That's interesting. I never really like heard about it from that, I guess, perspective, like turning the anxiety into excitement. Because I find that I like have anxiety about like what's gonna happen in the future, like like what's gonna happen when I graduate, what's gonna happen at the end of the semester, and it just like it causes a lot of worry. But I guess if you try to shift your perspective into like excitement, then it works.
No, it always works out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's nothing for you to do, and I think that's something that I notice is like a problem for you. Is like you don't see that when there's nothing for you to do, you can only just like let it go and like let itself work out.
Yeah. And like for example, this week I had like 2 midterms. One of them I like completely bombed. Like I have not gotten scores back, but my intuition
Right.
my intuition is telling me that I did not do good. But it's sort of weird because like once I left the classroom, it was like, okay, like I just left it in the classroom. And I sometimes like think like, should I like, am I wrong for just brushing over it so fast? Or is it like I need to do that for myself? Or it's like, at what point is it just like, okay, I forget about it, whatever? Or it's like, do I hold myself accountable for the fact that like I just bombed a test in there?
That's a really good point.
It's kind of hard because a lot of times it can just be used as an excuse to be like, okay, well, it's out of my control. It happened. Everything happens for a reason. And then it's like, you don't think about it again. But I do think it helps though. Like,
okay,
it helps. Like having that mindset once I walked out, it was like very nice because it was out of my control, literally out of my control. I handed in the Scantron. I couldn't do anything about it. But a part of me sometimes does think and even feels like a little bit guilty because I just brush over it so fast.
It's like you're not holding yourself accountable.
It's like I'm not holding myself accountable for like what I just did in there.
Yeah.
But again, what does that look like? Like how is me beating myself up for like doing bad on a test gonna help me?
That's not holding yourself accountable. I think you can brush like something over and be like, there's nothing I can do about it, and still like hold yourself accountable. Cause I mean, I feel like you do a pretty good job of it. You don't just repeat the same pattern. If you do bad on one test, then you study harder and like actually put in the work to try and do better on the next. Or at least that's what I noticed.
Thank you.
So I think you're good. Don't stress too much about it, Kayla.
Yeah. I guess I just need to be more excited. Maybe
more trusting
that
in
test
yourself
will change something in me. I don't know.
No, it's I totally get that. I struggle with even understanding that same thing. Like, okay, am I not holding myself accountable? Like, am I actually brushing over this like failure too quickly that it prevents me from even realizing that, oh shoot, like this should be a red flag. Like I failed, that means I need to improve. And by brushing over it, I wonder like, am I just in my being naive and being like, it's fine. I don't need to do it. It's
Yeah.
whatever. I can't do it. You know, so that's a terrible feeling. Holding myself accountable. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know, like sulking over it versus being like, okay, it happened. Like,
Yeah, I
I don't
think
know.
sulking doesn't do much though,
It doesn't.
because it's like
mm-mm.
no. I don't know.
I did
think
it for so many years. It doesn't do
Yeah.
anything. It makes you just feel stuck, and you're like, this is like who I am. Like, this is all I will ever do. And
you could have just spent that time.
actually just being like,
Yeah.
this all happened for a reason, and I can grow from it, and I'll learn from it. And
Yeah.
I don't know, like, trusting the universe and trusting yourself is, I don't know if there's even like a process for it. It just kind of happens. Like, there's just a switch in your life, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna let it
Play out.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And I think having that mindset too, of like
Yeah.
everything happens for a reason, it gives closure in situations where you didn't receive it. And it's just, you can accept things for how they were because, you know, you think the universe just
Working in
planned
your
it that
favor.
way, or it you know, it's working in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of nice too.
Yeah. I mean, I at least adopting it for me has saved me from a lot of sulking, unnecessarily sulking. Because you're right, there isn't much of a point to it. There is a little bit of guilt sometimes that I feel because of the fact that I see others sulk a lot more, and I'm like, damn, like maybe I should be sulking and being even more sad over it. Which is obviously not good. Like I think if you feel like you don't need to, you shouldn't force yourself to do it. And then that mixed with the fact that I have recently just placed a lot of trust in decisions that happen, because up until this point, like my life hasn't been destroyed by a single decision. It's, you know, there's always something that comes out of it. There's always something good that happens afterwards. And so looking back and analyzing your life and really being mindful of the fact that, okay, well, all of those times where I thought it was going to end up really terrible, it always worked out. So maybe I should have more trust in the things that happen.
Do you guys ever think that if you had a chance to redo your life, would you have done things differently? Because I think about that a lot, and there are a lot of things I would do
Ooh.
differently. Like, a lot of things.
I think, oh my God. But the thing is, like, if I were to do that, I wouldn't be here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think I would.
Like, I would not be in this podcast. I would
Yeah.
not be at USC.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that is where I want to be right now. So it's kind of hard though, because there is a lot of things I would want to change. I think one of them is just like, I just wish I was more outgoing. I just wish I put myself out there more.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think you do that enough?
No.
Wow.
I do not.
Well, that's the thing. Because do you think that has to do with being scared? Like, what if it's a bad outcome? Like, okay, if someone asks you to hang out, it's like I kind of want to go, but it's like
Not necessarily that's a bad outcome. Like in this example of like hanging out with somebody, it's just more like, oh, it's like the initial awkwardness and like talking to them. But yeah, I just wish I was just more outgoing, put myself out there more.
I think when that happens, it relates to like the whole universe thing of just, let's see where it happens. Like, let's see where it takes me. Like, where is the universe going to take me? Where is this force going to, where am I going to end up?
Mm-hmm.
And personally, I find it really exciting to have that mentality, because it makes every interaction so interesting, that I love meeting someone and being like, I can't wait to see where like me and this person will go and look like in a year. Is it going to be like, didn't talk at all, or are we going to be like really close? So that excitement is what makes me like really want to put myself out there more, because it's addicting once you do it. Like, it's what I've noticed in myself, that it's almost like chasing like a natural high of like the dopamine hit you get from being in a new situation that you didn't expect. And like it's kind of like a gamble. It's like gambling, but with experiences and memories. It's like, okay, if I go hang out with this person, it could be bad or good. And my mind, I think, processes like, oh my God, what if it's like really good and really fun? I like can't wait to find out. And so it like keeps me going doing that, which allows me to be more open.
That's interesting. I'm gonna try
Yeah.
to think of it that way.
Yeah.
And also, it's just like, what's the worst that can happen in any
Exactly.
situation, really, that you put yourself in? It's like, for the most part, you're going to end up fine. You know,
Mhm.
it's not as big and scary as it is in your head. I feel like that's one of my problems. I just like overthink things,
Yeah.
and it's like annoying.
Because it's like, okay, if it's like awkward, it's like, okay, the worst that happened was that it was awkward. That sucks,
Yeah.
but like glad I lived through it.
Yeah. And also, I feel like with every initial interaction, it's just like, okay, like I did it. I can do it again. And it wasn't that bad. So it's just like practice too of like putting yourself into like those uncomfortable situations, you know, because it's like, I don't think anybody initially enjoys doing it at first. But once they realize that like it's really not that bad, then it helps.
No, I have really been enjoying putting myself in uncomfortable situations for a while now. Like I don't know. I read, I think when I was younger, a lot of quotes and such that really pushed people to like put yourself out there, do it, because, you know, like things like the worst that can happen is they say no. You know, you either do it and something good might happen, or you don't do it and there is zero chance that something good might happen. You know, like messaging someone, whether it's like a professional or a friend or potential love interest, right? It's like, okay, if I message this like contact on my phone, I message them, they say no, nothing happens. Or they might say yeah, something good happens. Or if I just like don't message them at all, nothing good can ever happen. And so I like, the more that I have practiced it, the more willing and the more I enjoy like doing shit that is just random and that might and like put me in interesting places. And it does, like, it really does. I have ended up in a lot of very cool places and I've experienced a lot of very fun things simply because I said like, okay, well, fuck it, I'm gonna go ask for this, I'm gonna go tell them this, I'm gonna go send this message. It's really fun. Like once you start doing it, you realize it's so fun when you don't take life so seriously and you just do shit. Like I think as soon as it clicked in my head that really like anxiety and embarrassment isn't gonna cause me any physical pain, it made experiencing life so much more fun. Because it's almost like nothing really has consequences that are permanent. You know, if I go hang out with this person and like, you know, it's bad. Like the worst is like, oh, it was bad, whatever. I move on. And then eventually it's going to be good. So it's fun. Like it's really, I can't express it enough how much more enjoyable my life has been ever since I like adopted that mentality change.
That's really good to hear.
No,
Yeah.
literally. I'm like, wow.
You should try it. I'm always telling you, it's like,
I'll
do
try.
it. Like, do it.
I think
do it.
I think I've been doing it for a long time.
Really?
Yeah, like I feel like I
You are
like
very outgoing.
yeah, like I have adopted that for as long as I could remember. And I don't know if it's, sometimes I confuse it with impulsivity.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just very spontaneous and I act on everything. So that also might be an issue. But like I think I just like new experiences and I like new things, and I chase the dopamine of it all. Like I love meeting new people, and it's not even that like I hope to get like something really great out of it, which I'm always so open to. It's just meeting the person, and I feel like that's always so fun.
Yeah, you have been doing it like a lot longer than me, I feel like.
I feel like we all do a pretty good job of it.
Really?
Like sometimes like it's hindered, but like it gets there. Like
Okay.
I think I'm just a lot more outspoken with it.
and you just had more, I think, chances to be able to do something like that
Yeah.
than others.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I agree with you though that like sometimes I wonder, am I just being impulsive and is
I
this
think
bad?
oh my god, because you're like nothing bad can ever come out of it, and I'm thinking about that sentence, and I'm pretty sure things like pretty bad things have came out of like
situations,
impulsive decisions I've made.
But they happen for a reason. Hopefully.
You just haven't found out.
I don't know. Like okay, yeah, hopefully, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm still figuring out if like I'm just being impulsive, if like this is something I should need to like watch out for, or do I just chase the dopamine?
Yeah, it's just fun meeting people. It's fun meeting with like people, meeting new friends, like inviting people to like go out with you and do something fun that you like don't know at all. Like it's like I said, it's such a gamble. But it's, I mean, that's what makes it fun. So I don't know, maybe try like living a little.
That's so true.
Because the universe is always in your favor. But it has been very comforting, at least for me specifically. I think it has made me like very thankful. Just like I'm glad everything works out. I think it has calmed me down a lot. And made me more excited to just like keep going through the days and the motions and just saying like, okay, like we'll see where I end up. I'll just keep doing my little things and see what happens. So yeah.
Oh, that's good.
That's good to hear, honestly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So many patterns. You know, the most recent Nobel Peace Prize winner in physics basically like proved that everything is connected, and or things that aren't like, I don't know how to say it, but basically things that aren't related can affect other things.
Like the butterfly effect?
Yeah, essentially. Like unrelated things can affect
Influence
other parts
each
of the
other.
universe and like
Okay.
matter and atoms and influence each other, even if they're not touching or meeting in the same space. I don't know how to explain it. It's really complicated, but it essentially proved that everything is connected.
I
Which
mean,
was
makes-
kind of cool.
I believe
makes
it.
sense, yeah.
Yeah. You know, like, you know how a lot of people are, you know, like things like the universe is working in your favor, is it's all like spirituality and such.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes like it makes you think like maybe just physics haven't caught on. Like there hasn't been a way to prove it, but small little advancements maybe. Like, could you imagine if one day like someone does prove like, okay, yeah, there is like, so, it's so even hard to like comprehend what that looks like or how that would work. But yeah,
Like a cosmic force that is
yes, like a genuine cosmic force.
okay.
Like, you know, because like when you think about the way that the world is built, like there's so much we don't understand. So there totally could be some sort of force. I don't know how to
I
explain
just
it.
know that the universe is so real.
No, the universe has been so real.
don't know who, don't know
I
what,
know.
but
I love
it's
her.
working. yeah.
I believe.
Oh, she is working overtime.
I was late about to make that joke, but I was like,
Maybe we shouldn't. Yeah. Well, anyways, that's kind of that for that little topic. Very short and sweet. I think it was just like a nice little realization, an affirmation, right?
Wow. Look
A little
at you.
reminder,
Look
too.
at God.
Yeah.
let
just
things play out. Don't hold on
Yeah.
to so many little things that you can't control.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything will work out in your favor. Just have that mindset, and it really will. Because I mean, like even if like, you know, some force or whatever isn't real, just adapting the mindset of like, okay, everything happens for a reason, everything's gonna be fine. It does a lot for you. It just like soothes a lot of anxiety, and you know, like it just helps. So whether you do or don't believe it, just like having, I feel like at the end of the day, it's just having a positive mindset, you know, and attaching that to like spirituality. So either or, you know, whatever works
Maybe
for
it's
you.
just that positive mindset to influence your actions, which makes you
Crazy,
think,
like-
you know, who would have fucking thought that?
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, if I think happy thoughts, I do happy things
Yeah.
and things that make me happy. Who would have thought?
Yeah, literally, as long as you have hope, you're good.
Mm.
Like, because then you're always gonna be looking forward to something, and you're always gonna think like, oh, things are gonna get better. And
Yeah.
as long as you think that, then you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I mean, not to get too deep, but sometimes even like what gives you a will to live is just that little curiosity to find out what happens next, and that's totally enough to push someone through. Like, if you could find that curiosity in yourself, it really, really is incredibly impactful in the way you live your life. So, but anyway, since this is a short and sweet, I hope it was comforting. I like these episodes honestly because they seem very like to the point and nice. When is this episode coming out? By the time this episode comes out, we'll be in New York. So
Oh my God.
Eh,
Look at how the universe treated us.
no, literally, like it's so funny, little patterns like that. Let me tell you another example.
We've been manifesting this.
We have, because we've been like, I want to go back to
Yeah.
New York. We want to go back to New York. And then we get invited to go back to New York on the days that you guys don't have school and it's your break. Like, what are the chances that it all works out like that?
Literally.
And there's this other thing that happened to me personally that I wanted to go to Vegas with my family because I had never been. So I wanted to take them, and we were going to go around December. And then something's happened. We're like, oh, I don't think we could go anymore. Like, it's going to be really expensive during that time. Maybe we shouldn't. Like, yeah, like we probably can't really afford it right now. And then I get invited to speak at a conference in Vegas where they're going to give a hotel. Well, like, what are the odds
Wow.
that, like, as soon as, like, I was like, damn, like, this had to get canceled. I really want to go. Somehow the timing is like, hey, you can actually go now. It's like small things like that. Like, I've just been like every time it happens, I'm like, no fucking way.
She did it again.
She did it again. Like, she literally did it again. No, that's exactly what I think. I'm like, like, I laugh a little every time because it's just so funny. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. What should be our little question or poll? Okay. I'll put something maybe to do if you believe that there's like a little universe, and see what else there is, or any other tiny. I think I'll put a little question box so you could tell us the times that the universe has worked out in funny ways that made you realize like that was too good to be true. That timing. So thank you so much for listening, and remember, every Sunday we do a Spotify live at 6 p.m. PST. So thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.